As promised, this morning we sit down with some of the participants from the recently concluded Broadcast and Digital Media Convention Africa 2024. My first guest is Dheshnie Naidoo. She's the Regional Director of TVU Networks. Dheshnie, very good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
First and foremost, how was your time in Namibia, and of course, how did you find the convention?
Firstly, I think it's too short because you've got such a beautiful country and time is limited and I don't get the opportunity to explore it. But in regards to the convention that took place, it was just absolutely an eye-opening event for me because it showcased the potential that we have in the industry and certainly what Africa has to offer.
Very much indeed. Of course, it took place under this very important theme around AI and, you know, its infusion into our ecosystem as we know it. And you had some very interesting take. You were very engaging throughout, you know, the two-day convention. What were some of the key takeaways, and where do you see artificial intelligence in the very near future?
So, you know, everybody kept on referring to AI as this beast, and indeed it is a beast. So I look at AI being something that we can really embrace. However, it needs to be done in a more secure and safe environment. Artificial intelligence can be used and abused. So I believe that if it's used in the correct context and if it's used for the right outcome, it's definitely something that we can leverage off. But we also see how AI is being abused, you know, creating fake news, creating fake profiles. And these are the things that hinder our industry and also compromises the trust that viewers out there or just the general public have with this. But if it's used in the right space, it opens up a plethora of knowledge base to the user. Yeah. You know, I have 2 kids. I have to be so cautious that when they come home with the homework, that they're not using AI to do the homework, right? But then on the other hand, if I need to find out something and I need to be informed or I need to learn about a certain topic, yes, I go to AI. So, you know, I think it's about striking that balance and understanding where and when it can be used. Certainly in the broadcasting industry, I think it does add a lot of value. And one of the common fears is AI taking over the jobs of man? I mean, in a continent like Africa where, you know, jobs are difficult to come by and it's also already a struggle, you don't want to create that fear that here's AI to take over what you humans are responsible for. However, again, used responsibly, I think it can create opportunity that allows then humans to move on to something greater and to just use AI to get more leverage and to be quicker and faster and efficient.
What we're already doing, yes.
Yes.
Very much
and leave man and leave the humans to move on to more cleverer advancements.
Yes, very much indeed. And one other big subject was, of course, broadcasters finding cost-effective solutions to what they're doing. We know that broadcasters face a lot of issues when it comes to funding, and TVU Networks provides some of the answers to those challenges. Talk to us about where you see yourself, and perhaps just talk to us also a bit about the works and offerings of TVU Networks here.
Well, certainly, you know, looking at Africa's landscape, the common message was we come from such a vibrant landscape. We've got amazing talent. We've got amazing stories to tell. And there's just such an amazing opportunity to tell those stories to the rest of the world. But the challenges that we face is hindering us from getting to that position. And if you look across the African continent, struggles like internet connectivity in certain rural areas, okay, and just access to technology in certain areas. So these things hinder our progress in broadcasting. So we need to look at new creative ways and take the challenges and turn the challenges into opportunities. And we know that broadcasting is also evolving. technology is evolving at a breakneck pace. So you enter TVU, a company like TVU, who has innovative, cutting-edge technology that can pave the way and make broadcasting simpler with cloud solutions. Okay, but if we have the internet connectivity or the infrastructure to do that, we could be creating magic.
Very much indeed. TVU Networks is originally from the US, yes?
We are based in the US, in Cupertino in California, but TVU has a global presence. We operate in 90 countries across the globe, and we have more than 4,000 customers that are using TVU Networks products and the ecosystem, and we're hoping that now that TVU is launched in South Africa and Africa, we have a greater presence, and we build the broadcasting industry together.
Looking at you expanding your footprint into the African continent, how viable is that for you? Is the potential in the African continent? And secondly, looking at those challenges that you just alluded to, the digital divide, issues of connectivity, etc., how big of a challenge do those challenges pose to what you do as a network here?
Right now, it is definitely a challenge. But coming to a convention like the one that we've just come out now, BMA and Saba together, putting together a phenomenal event for us, it gave us as broadcasters and service providers an opportunity to network, collaborate together, and discuss how can we make a change to enable products like TVU to become successful on the continent.
Very much indeed. TVU Networks has been involved in some major, should I say, productions or events as well. Could you highlight some of those events for us and what your role was in those events and just how effective your technology is here?
So immediately, there's two that comes to mind because it has been the most recent. TVU has been involved and partnered with a lot of major broadcasters across the globe. But one in particular that stands out for me is the Olympic torch flame relay. And this took place in Paris this year. And I can tell you that TVU committed to 100% in the cloud production, and it was the first ever broadcast to be done 100% in the cloud. So TVU partnered with France TV and built their own 5G bubble, which had a Starlink, and Obvious was our service provider there. And together we enabled teams across Paris to cover this for more than 70 days live. So that was an amazing project that we did on the sports side of things. And on the news coverage, the BBC elections in the UK earlier this year was also a phenomenal production whereby we enabled about 396 users on a cell phone to connect via TVU's products and put out the ballot counting live. Because people want to see transparency during an election and they want to be able to see their votes being counted. So the BBC did that together with TVU, and the outcome has just put us on the map and made TVU very attractive. So it's becoming very fast attractive over many countries.
Very much. As a cloud and hybrid solution-based company, there was an interesting presentation from Malawi yesterday, and you had some questions as well for the representative, Ralph, if I remember his name correctly, around cloud and of course compression issues, etc. How are you guys dealing with that? The size of some of these productions, so to say, as far as compressing these files here.
So TVU works off their very own unique algorithm. Their foundation is built on 3 pillars, okay? So we can boast by far that we have the lowest latency across the industry in our products. And latency is very important when you're using cloud infrastructure. So TVU boasts a 0.3 second latency on their products. We have a real-time stamp, so your video and your audio metadata are always synchronized. And there's the frame synchronizing, so your video and audio is always in sync with each other. So we don't have any issues with that. And again, I said all of this is only possible when you have the right connectivity, when you're working with cloud solutions.
Dheshnie, you of course come from a fairly long history in broadcasting as well, based in South Africa. When looking at, the landscape in South Africa and here in Namibia, obviously very different markets as far as size is concerned. But looking at this convention and the outcomes of this convention and comparing our two markets, what opportunities do you see for both Namibia and South Africa as well?
Look, as I said, I think Africa is an untapped market. South Africa is very, very successful in the broadcasting industry and, has been successful for many years as well. We're neighbors. We should be playing nice with each other and developing and growing the markets across all across our continent and across all countries as well. So I definitely think that there's opportunity there. With some of the talks yesterday and hearing about the training and development that's happening within the organizations, that's adding to the industry. And together I just think fostering a better collaboration, we have so much more to offer.
Dheshnie, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for being with us. You leave today. We do hope that you enjoy the last few hours here in Swakopmund. All the best for the future, and thank you for being with us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
There you have it, Dheshnie Naidoo. She's the Regional Director of TVU Networks, talking to us about her participation here at the just concluded 8th edition of the Broadcast and Digital Media Convention.